Good day guys, it's Asian, and are you tired of getting mugged on Wild Forest? Well, Wild Forest is a fast-paced and skill-based game, so sometimes losses can feel tiring. I will show you a few mistakes that you should stop making to level up your game and give you a chance at that 500 wins trophy, so let's dive right in. So it's Asian here and back at it again with more Wild Forest content. So first off, if you haven't subscribed yet but have been picking up more of my content because of Wild Forest, I suggest you do so right now. This video is going to be just the first in this series, so keep updated about that. So the first mistake that you should stop making in Wild Forest is not upgrading your units. So as a beginner, you have access to a few basic units already and was probably taught in the tutorial to upgrade your free unit cards. Unfortunately, while you might think it's a waste of shards to use on non-mainnet units, it's kind of mandatory to do so. Unless you plan on just relying on fighting bots to win your daily check-in, you will need to level up your units. I'd say maxing out to level 4 is more than enough. If you get matched against someone with a massive level disadvantage anyway, it's kind of a dead end no matter what you do, so don't stress about it. Next mistake is not micromanaging units in combat. So what does micromanage mean? Well, this means manually moving around individual units with small and precise movement instead of just relying on double tapping on everything. There are units that can kite and damage enemies without them being able to damage them back, like archers for example. That 1 or 2 extra hits might not sound much, but in a game like Wild Forest where fast-paced and decisive moves win the game, every advantage that you can get counts. So in fact, micromanaging units can even outright prevent certain enemy units from being useful, like snipers, while units like assassins and rogues can only reach their maximum potential if you micromanage them. Make adjustments and micromanage your units, spread out your archers, space out your melee units when you're going up against knights to avoid AoE, and so on. The next mistake is not playing on PC. Now this doesn't mean that you have to buy a PC or laptop just to play Wild Forest, but if you do already have one, then you are doing yourself a big disservice by limiting yourself to mobile. So why is it so important to play on PC if I can? Well, because there are huge advantages that PC players have over mobile player. This is related to the previous mistake, which is about micromanagement, for example. Naturally, PC players using a mouse have faster and more precise movements and clicks compared to someone playing on mobile and just using his fingers. If you want to be able to micromanage your units to a higher degree of accuracy and precision, well, you can't go wrong with playing on PC. And speaking of precision, it brings us to our next mistake, which is not playing the first 10 seconds of the game properly. So what does this mean? A lot of newer players make the mistake of not making the perfect opening moves when the match starts. Wild Forest is a fast-paced game and usually depends on the map that you spawn on. The game can be decided as early as 30 seconds to 1 minute of the match. What you want to do as soon as the match starts is to move your swordsman to the best territory that you can get. By best, you are looking at 2 factors, which is building slots and distance. You want to secure as many building slots as possible as early as possible, so you always go for the nearest to second nearest territory with 2 slots inside it. There are exceptions to this rule, like when you're playing on the map with just 1 path through the middle. This map, usually the best move is to secure the center territory as fast as possible, but in general, this is the opening move that you want to do. So as soon as you send your swordsman to move, you want to create your first building or buildings. Most maps have 1 building slot connected to your town hall, so the objectively best building you need to build first here is a barracks, because this will allow you to spawn a second unit before your first unit is done securing your first territory, which you can then use to secure more territories and buildings. So there are maps that comes with 2 building slots attached to the town hall, and what I usually see people do here is either they create a mine and barracks or 2 barracks and spend all their mana on an early push with 3 units. But anyway, this is basically the best way to give you a fighting chance in Wild Forest, which is to play the first seconds of the match properly, which brings us to our next tip: not upgrading your barracks fast enough. I can't stress how important it is for you to upgrade your barracks as soon as possible. A lot of people tend to tunnel vision into getting as many units on the board as fast as possible, getting as many mines as they can build, and so on and so forth. This is a problem, however, if you delay upgrading your barracks to level 2 as fast as possible, because first, you can't produce your tier 2 units like your knight, which bodies a lot of tier 1 melee units, and more importantly, it delays your tier 3 unit, like for example your Juggernaut. So it's not worth turtling unless you are playing specific builds like for example Airborne, so upgrade your starting barracks to level 2 as soon as possible, preferably within the first minute, which brings us to our last tip, which is never play sniper units. Just trust me, as soon as you have tier 2 units to replace your free sniper, go use that. I don't care if you have to end up using 2 knights, just never play sniper. That's all for this video. Check out my Wild Forest playlist linked in the card and in the description below. I'll see you all on the other side.